it's a pleasure to introduce you Fabiola de Los Angeles Mármol. She is from Monterrey, Mexico, and she is going to present a project called Mindture, Kids Futures. Okay, Fabiola, are you ready?
Yes, hi everyone. We are very excited to participate in this conference, and well, I want to begin to share my presentation.
Sure.
Okay. Tell me, please, if you are saying see. And okay, you can see the presentation?
Sure, super.
Okay. Well, but I am very appreciate this invitation. So, wait. My name is Fabiola Mármol, and I am in the Mindture team. We currently work with data as professors at the Tec de Monterrey Business School, Campus Monterrey, and we are founders of Mindture. Since December 2022, we invite Cesar Gomez to collaborate as our CTO for the development of our MVP. He's a recent graduate of the Tec de Monterrey of Computer Technology Engineering. And in addition to being a talented programmer, he shared with us the passion for improving education in the world. And together, we decide to work on solving this assertion. Well, the core problem that we see is that 65% of children who are now in the first years of school will have to work as adults in professions that have not yet been invented. This was said for the World Economic Forum in 2018, and this one is scared because we notice that the students of the university in this stage of their of her life don't believe in himself. My inspiration came during my experience as a university teacher, when I realized that my students told me that I had been the first person who had believed in them. And this led me to think that from childhood, we could make people more resilient, who could block paradigms and believe that force them to pursue their dreams. That's the reason that I inspired in this problem. We want to transform this situation. So we present Mindture. Mindture is an edtech initiative. This means that it considers the academic part, giving the possibility of studying, analyzing, or reviewing teaching and learning process from a technological perspective. It also considers the practical part that is related to the technology used in educational context. Our project is based on the design of futures through motivating children between the age of 8 and 12 to become aware and be protagonists in the construction of their future. Their goal is to develop the skills they will require as professionals within 20 years through innovative learning methodologies such as gamification, future design, positive psychology, and technological tools. Mindture is a contraction of two words, minds and futures.
Le doy la palabra a mis colegas. Gracias. Adelante.
Muchas gracias, Guillermina, por las palabras de bienvenida. Yo voy a presentarles muy brevemente qué es la
I don't
Federación
know
Mundial de Estudios de Futuro.
why is this? Okay, let me check.
La Federación es una de las instituciones o de las organizaciones prospectivas con mayor trayectoria en nuestro campo disciplinar. Fue
Okay, let me check what's
creada en
happening.
1973 en París por grandes prospectivistas y cientistas sociales.
Okay, so I ask everybody for your patience, please.
Thank you.
Okay, it seems that everything is okay now.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Fabiola, please keep
No,
going.
Don't worry, Alicia. Thank you. Well, so we want to be part of the prospective training of the new generations, anticipate to design different future scenarios of their lives, and set goals that allow them to draw up an action plan to achieve them. We are one of the main premises will be that making mistakes is part of learning. Okay, I can. Okay. Our main objective of this initiative aims to innovate in teaching methods, considering the changing context that presents this challenge in shaping sensitive, reflective, creative, responsible, initiative-taking citizens who can collaborate, respect each other, and care for the environment as their way of life. Our mission is we are committed to offering innovative educational experiences based on technology to design strong personal futures. Our vision, transform education so that children build their future and contribute to universal education that strengthens the decision-making of future generations. Our methodology validation is that actually we have been validating our methodology through workshops with the age of 8 to 12 children. The first was held on August 26th, the second in October 18, in the Casa Naranjos. Casa Naranjos is a non-profit community space of the Tec de Monterrey, a private university located in Monterrey, Mexico. We promote it on social media and in various primary school communities and WhatsApp groups in the city, as well as in Casa Naranjo social media. And the registration was for a Google form. And the result, the first group in attendance of 8 participants. Then in October was 20 childs, 20 boys. The age distribution of attendees in the first group was 2 with the age of 8, 2 of the age of 9, and 3 of the age of 10, 1 of the age of 12. Right now are prepared the statistics for the second group, so I don't have this in this moment, sorry. Our main activities in the workshop was children engaged in various different activities such as Futures Bazaar simulation with the methodology of Stuart Candy, designing a scenario for 2040, identify their superpowers, because we want they recognize their abilities, understanding their past to plan their future, and deciding how to start their journey as futurists, among other aspects. Well, the key findings we are the results was the the main findings that we can share with you are the youngest children are the ones who have responded best to the futures methodology. Although our target market range from 8 to 12 years old, parents have insisted on accepting 6 and 7-year-old children. They show great openness and creativity when working with the artifacts and explaining how they work in the future. At the end of the workshop, the children can better define what the future is and that they can transform it. Children perceive the future as something distant and have shared concepts such as wars, lack of resources in the world, the most pessimistic scenarios, and concepts such as robots and technology, the most optimistic. When explaining the possibility of changing the future, they appear surprised and work on artifacts that provide a solution to what they are interested in and are concerned about solving. At first, 11-year-old children are the least participatory, probably because they are the oldest and they question some dynamics because they are considered for children younger, but later they are able to develop their scenarios in a creative and fun way. Parents are the most interested and enroll their children. The children find out about the course since they are in it, but in the end, they evaluate the course positively and tell us that they will not change anything, that they liked it a lot. The dynamic that they liked the most is when they individually work on designing an invention that can transform the world into a better place by 2040, because in the end, they sell their idea to their college and exchange coins. So we tell them, be a futurist, be a change maker, design your future. I want to share this video.
Is it uploading?
Is you can see?
No, not yet.
Okay. I shared again this. And share some. You can see?
Yeah?
Okay, this is a short.
Hola, soy Valentina y soy futurista.
This is very short, sorry. And well,
So the video said, I'm Valentina and I'm a futurist.
yes. Yes, they at the last of the workshop, they seems futurists. They changed their minds. Okay, so well, more of the we are prepared is we continue with validation of the different learning methodologies such as Futures Bazaar, positive psychology, constructivism, other design which will strengthen or minimum viable product, continue the design of gamification-based educational platform, obtain various funds to support our seed project, and sorry, okay. For in the conclusion of this this day, we are an early stage technology-based innovative, seeking both financial support and support networks, as well as mentorship from experts to strengthen our business model and secure the capital that will fund the development and launch of our minimum viable product. Above all, it is the impact that our educational platform will have on children worldwide that motivate us. Through this project, we contribute to the development of a more prosperous, technological, inclusive, and sustainable city and world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fabiola, for a very precise presentation. We also having here Deyra, which is the other key part of the team. You are just missing the boy, but here we have the two of them. Congrats. Well, first of all, we are very proud of having them joined Teach the Future. And they are new at Teach the Future. They have just some months that they have joined us, but Mindture is a very important project that is becoming reality. We have here in the audience, we have Rosa Alegría, which is a high-level futurist all over the world, all over Latin America, and also part of Teach the Future. She has done a lot from Teach the Future, and Rosa says, amazing experience. I'm very delighted to know about one more initiative that has evidences that children are born futurists. In Sao Paulo, Brazil, we have a similar project. I'm in Paris, and today I talked to UNESCO Futures Literacy Group that says it is difficult to teach the future for kids. Mindture is something that can show UNESCO that it is not true.
Yes.
Right? So it's a matter of knowing how to get to the kids.
Yes.
Yeah, but since we are, as long as we are thinking as adults and acting as adults and have a vision like adults, we are going to build things as adults. So when we empathize and we try to get into the kid's mind and to the kid's soul and all that, it's different. And Rosa also says that we would love to get closer to this project.
Thank you very much. Yes, please go share your email, please, to be in contact and share all the investigation and all the results. Thank you, Rosa.
Sure. Brazil and Mexico would be an example for the world.
Yes, yes. And my friend Deyra is very, very strong relationships in Brazil with some teachers in Brazil.
Yes, I have been worked with Brazil many years, and also I have learning Portuguese because it's necessary.
Nice. So you can receive the three of us, Rosa, in Brazil with no problem at all. I have a strong relationship with caipirinhas. No, not true. Not true. Just kidding. Okay. Do we have another comment or question here in the audience, please? Anyone else that wants to ask or comment something to Deyra or Fabiola? This is a very quiet audience, but also Martin, who was the last speaker, says, great presentation, Fabiola and Deyra.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
Lina Maya says, Professor Eleonora Barbieri Massini believed that the children are the most important for our futures.
Yes,
Yes.
we
The children are, sorry. Okay.
no, please.
Okay. No. So in our workshops, Fabiola and we are very surprised with children. They are very curious and surprise us with their ideas, their intelligence, and everything they can achieve in a short time. No, so we are very happy to work in this project, and I want have more collaboration, more networking with other countries, mentoring, and we can put in contact with much people now, so to increase the impact with this project.
And actually,
Rosa.
yeah, Rosa, actually all the presentations are going to be shared. We'll have news soon about all the presentations of the whole conference. And yeah, don't worry, Rosa, being from the same family, yeah, sure, we will be close to you. And also I want to say that
we share with you this presentation. Was an honor for us.
I also want to share that our executive director and founder of Teach the Future, Pierre Bishop, always said, or well, before he has this idea about teaching the future, he was asking, who is talking to the young ones? Who is talking to the children, right? So that's an important basis of how Teach the Future was born, and how important is to have this kind of initiatives. And also here in this conference, online conference, we had two great panels, one from the NGFP winners, which are practically teens that won projects of futures projects, and also an intergenerational exchange in which older futurists and young futurists were giving their ideas to each other. So this is really important. It's something that is not common to see, common to watch, common to do. So yeah, this is super important. And as we were talking with Martin in his last minutes, these and some other topics are topics that are not visible sometimes. So we need to make them visible, and we need to embrace this, because remember, we need to train kids, we need to train people and future skills from an early age, but the future concerns us all. Every one of us may need to make our part concerning futures, right? Okay, so any other question or comment? Okay, it seems that it's everything. We invite you to stay. We are going to display a video on Dr. Elke Siegfried, a historian, which is going to talk about some history of the World Futures Studies Federation, and that will be our closing. So Fabiola and Deyra, you are invited to stay, and of course all our attendees that are here. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so 10 more minutes, please. Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Dear Eric, dear all, my sincere congratulations on this anniversary of the World Future Studies Federation. As a historian, I have worked a lot and I have explored the early history of future studies since the 1950s. What I can say is that the futures field has undergone a long way and deep processes of change since the 50s. Let me tell a short story of the history of future studies. This history can be traced back to the 50s, when approaches to study the future crystallized in the USA, Western Europe, and the socialist states. The economic boom in the West particularly seemed to offer political space for long-term planning, and many scientists and intellectuals were impressed by the dynamic developments that were taking place in science and technology, such as spaceflight, atomic energy, and computerization. Let me underline that emerging future studies mainly rooted in Cold War mentalities. In the early Cold War, think tanks such as the Rand Corporation in the USA provided the theories, the methods, and the tools for military and strategic planning of administration and technological forecasting. For example, I'll begin my presentation. For example, cybernetics as a meta-science of communication and control in the animal and the machine, and systems analysis, the set of systems analysis of so-called methods based on systems and exploring feedback and regulation processes served as an umbrella for new techniques for studying the future, such as computer-based simulation modeling and Delphi. The first Delphi study of 1964, developed by Olaf Helmer and Theodor Godin, mainly drew on future weapons systems, such as chemical arms and biological arms, counterinsurgency, and so on, reflecting on this in expert opinion questionnaires, and making clear how important the Cold War and Cold War thinking was. Though the design of new methods for studying the future had a mainly American background, early organizations grew out of Western transnational circulations of knowledge. The Congress for Cultural Freedom and the Ford Foundation, led by Cold War thinking in the 50s, funded the project Futurible, which was located in Paris and Geneva and led by the French political scientist Bertrand de Chauvenel. He coined the term Futurible himself, combining the senses of future and possible in his famous book L'Art de la Conjecture of 1964. The Futurible project Bertrand de Chauvenel initiated and organized aimed at stabilizing the future of Western democracy. However, despite these political interests, Futurible conferences also came to deal with techniques for studying the future in international conferences. By contrast, there were also futurists that did not pursue Cold War-based mentalities, but sought to transgress the boundaries of the Cold War, establishing an exchange of knowledge within scientists from the socialist states in the nuclear age. Indeed, I think it is important to differentiate between three quite different, distinctive approaches and lines of thought within the emergent futures field, and maybe they are valid until today. In Western Europe, particularly Bertrand de Chauvenel pursued a normative approach to future studies, as he was guided by an elitist understanding of himself and thought about possible and wished for futures in a historical perspective, seeking for moral ideas of the good future, particularly how to combine freedom and authority in modern democracy and in France. In the 1960s, a second empirical and positivistic approach, as I would say, dominated the scene, particularly in the US and West Germany. Grand futurists such as Hermann Kahn were key figures of this second approach. They worked with trend extrapolations, so thinking in linear terms, and they worked with computer simulations and were more or less sure to be able to forecast the future and steer technological progress. And Hermann Kahn, for example, developed the scenario of the use of atomic energy in every US household in the year 2000 in his book, published in 1967. And I think also Olaf Helmer and his Delphi method came out of this second approach. By contrast, I see Robert Jung, a trained historian, and the Norwegian social scientist and peace researcher Johan Galtung as key figures of a third, a critical and emancipatory approach, central for the founding of the World Future Studies Federation. At the heart of this approach was a social, philosophical, and critical epistemology that was close to the New Left, and the 1968 movement, particularly in the peace movement. This approach aspired to emancipate human beings from the constructive political and social structures of the capitalist system. So it has somehow a neo-Marxist framework. Jung and Galtung thought about a third way between the West and the East, some sort of a combining freedom and planning. Both were among the founders of the Mankind 2000 initiative in 1964 and 1965, a transnational Western European group engaged in thinking about peace in the atomic age. Hence, Mankind 2000 symbolized a line of thought in future studies that sought to transgress the boundaries of the Cold War, establishing an exchange of knowledge with scientists from the socialist states. In 1967, Mankind 2000 organized the Future Research Congress that took place in Oslo, and futurists also met in Kyoto, Japan in 1970, and in Bucharest in Romania in 1972. The World Future Studies Federation came out of these conferences. At the Bucharest World Conference, the participants decided that the new federation would officially be founded in Paris in 1973. The futurists were not quite sure, hesitating as they operated between two different self-conceptions, between an epistemic community of experts and scientists and a conception of a very open and flexible social movement from bottom up. In Paris, Bertrand de Chevenel, credited with having played a central role in building up the international future studies networks, he was elected as the founding president of the World Futures Federation, with a Romanian Pavel Apostol representing the socialist states as his deputy. Triggered by the World Future Studies Federation, the transnational futures field opened itself up to a global worldview in the following years. Of course, Mankind 2000 had already viewed all humankind as belonging to a world society, but it stood at the center of Mankind 2000 to secure peace. In the 70s and 80s, the futures field shifted its perspective towards a global one. First, the notion of global interdependence rooted in an environmental turn within the futures field that was shaped by the debate on the study The Limits to Growth, launched by the Club of Rome in 1972. In the following years, environmental ideas penetrated and dominated the futures field. What is more, second, the World Future Studies Federation opened itself up to notions of globality that were enhanced by dependency theories and the political debate on development policy and the so-called North-South divide. The developing countries called for joint international action to have trade policies adapted to make them conducive to their development and a just and equitable new international economic order. The futures field and the World Future Studies Federation was not only influenced by these events and called for a global burden sharing, it itself contributed to change and stimulated this political debate. Johan Galtung and researchers from the Global South, such as the Argentinian Bariloche group, criticized the Limits to Growth study for being Western-centered and colonizing the future of the Global South, as the Limits to Growth study called for a stop of economic growth worldwide. In the following, many futurists open themselves up to idealistic ideas of global solidarity, of a growth cut in the north, and burden sharing amongst the world's nations. Further, during the 70s and 80s, the World Future Studies Federation was highly dedicated to the open category of human needs that served as an ideal framework for rethinking and recalibrating the future from the bottom up and in a north-south perspective. The World Future Studies Federation developed a new understanding of humanity's future, pointing towards exploring factors of social equality worldwide and within national perspective, and called to look at subjective aspects of human beings. The focus on bottom-up futures was brought in by Jim Dator and Robert Jung in this idea of the future workshop. Also, the bottom-up approach was reflected in the leadership of the World Futures Federation, as Johann Galtung, as you have seen, a forceful advocate of the critical and emancipatory approach, succeeded Bertrand de Chevenel as a president. And Eleonora Massini more and more played a central role from the late 70s onwards as Secretary General and then President, symbolizing women in future studies. However, conceptions of growth cut in the north and of global burden sharing proved too idealistic to be feasible. The northern states had their own vested interests in times of economic crisis and market-based economic policy concepts, or some sort of neoliberalism in the 80s. Also, we have to say that the World Future Studies Federation pursued somehow utopian socialist ideas in the 80s, as some saw China as a model for shaping the world future with its reformism, but these plans ended with the Tiananmen Square massacre in 1989. In general, however, the transnational futures field moved to more pragmatic approaches. All futurists opened themselves up to different methods, to pluralization of methods, such as Delphi, quantitative and qualitative scenario writing, computer modeling, future workshops, and foresight, and other techniques. And key figures of this empirical approach accepted that it was impossible to generate any really objective knowledge about futures, but that it is highly important to think about a variety of possible futures and to try to shape them. This has become the basis of our present understanding of the future. Thank you very much. My German book is being translated at the moment, and the US edition of this book will be published by Berkheim Books in 2024, so early next year. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Elke, for this very helpful compilation. Lina Maya says, thank you for the WFSF 25th as the greatest online conference on future thinking. I'm one of those who have volunteered for the WFSF since the late 1980s, thanks to Professor Eleonora Barbieri Massini's inspiring leadership. She invited the meeting on future thinking to take place in Italy, which later led to the establishment of the WFSF in 1973. Abrazos prospectivos a todas y a todos. Elena Maya, in Finnish, Lina Maya. Yeah, Lina Maya was in charge of Eleonora's Massini seminar in the same conference, and we appreciate all that effort. Okay, so thank you very much to everybody. We are officially closing this event, this great event. And I tell you that all the recordings will be ready someday when the tech support team tells me so. We will let you know. The same with the presentations. We will let you know when you can access to them. Remember that we also have a Slack channel which we can still use for a while, and you can exchange their ideas, and you also can share articles or any other information. Just let me share with you at last the channels. Let me see. Okay, not here. Okay. Okay, well, I recently lost it, but okay, thank you very much. So this was the 25th WFSF World Conference online program, exploring liminalities and creating spaces for unlimited futures and futures for humanity. Thank you very much. My name is Aletia Montero from Mexico City. I was your host several times. Thanks a lot to Carissa Torgenson, Catherine Corozgo, and Claire Nelson for being also hosts of this whole program. Thank you very much to Helga Bayul, who was in charge of the whole organizing committee. Thank you to Jeremy Wilken, Jolie Roche, Sarah Wheeler, which are the online team. Of course, our president, Eric Oberland, our director, Victor Mori, and the rest of the organizing committee, as Martin Kalnan, and Maya Valenput, Derek Woodgate, and Thomas Gaspar, John Sweeney, and some others. Thanks all of you for your presence. We hope to see you within 2 years. Keep in touch with the information from the Federation, and see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.